UNICAL Radio International, Entertainment 360, Edutainment 360, Infotainment 360. We smile like that.
We thank God that today we are having the commissioning of UNICAL Radio International and our able Vice Chancellor, a woman with capacity, a woman who have shown that indeed giving power to women, giving leadership to women, worth giving them. Because as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar, she has really done a whole lot of good to the institution. But I will not want to talk much in introducing her, because I know if I want to introduce her, the titles are too much. So I will like my listeners to hear her introduce herself so that you will know that she is a woman with capacity. Please, ma'am, we will meet you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I am Professor Florence Bankobi, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar. And we are here together with my principal officers to commission and launch to the world our UNICAL Radio International. That will be meant for educating the public and entertaining everyone. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much, ma'am. I believe the listeners will be like, who is this hosting the show that did not introduce himself? Director of Information, I felt it required that I cannot have my Vice Chancellor here seated and I'm introducing myself before her. My name is Vice Chancellor, the Director of Information, Student Union Government. It has been my pleasure the day I learned about this big project in the University of Calabar. And I thank God that we achieved this during my tenure as the Director of Information at Student Union Government. But ma, we know the main purpose of this radio needs to be made known to the entire public. So I will ask ma, what is the main purpose of UNICAL Radio International?
Well, let me start by saying that we are in a digital world today. And talking about being a digital world means that we have to offer digital education to everybody. And this is in line with the United Nations policy, and UNICAL doesn't want to be left out. Along that, since we came on board, we have opened up a smart campus, and in continuation of that vision of having a smart university, a smart campus, we are launching the UNICAL Radio International. And like I said, this is the era of digitalization era. You know that students need to be global students today and not just students of UNICAL known only at the local level. And in pursuance of that, we have tried to make sure that our students access internet facilities in school. And while they are accessing internet facilities in school, they also have access. They should also have access to other facilities, just like what this radio will offer them. And we also know that sometimes the internet is not very stable on and off. For some days now, we have not been able to even have the MTN network has been poor. But we need to keep informing the public. We need to keep informing ourselves and educating our students. And that is where the radio will come in to complement the efforts of the university in making sure that we have a completely digitalized university that will prepare our students across all levels and prepare them to be global graduates. And they will be informed, they will be entertained, and I'm sure that even the people in Cross River State and in the world will be informed of what is happening in the University of Calabar on a day-to-day basis.
Wow, I'm really happy when the Vice Chancellor keep mentioning the word, the globe, the word, the globe. It means this radio is not just limited to people in UNICAL. It means everybody in the world can reach out to UNICAL Radio International.
Sure.
Ma, I want to ask, in reaching out to the entire public, because this radio is not going to educate students alone. Because anything that goes to the world, both a mechanic, a banker, student, everybody can benefit from it. Ma, what aspect, like how do you intend to grow the radio educational wise? what are the programs you feel like the radio is going to be anchoring on a daily basis to educate the public?
Well, for us, it will be one way of keeping our students abreast with development. But in terms of corporate social responsibility, we will also be giving back to the society by getting into educational programs like NECO programs, WAEC, JAM. Will have to be having programs that will educate and will help even those who are wanting to come to the university, those who are preparing for JAM, those who are preparing for NECO and WAEC, they will have access to this. And the University of Calabar is actually setting up its open and distant learning education very soon. And I'm sure that in the next 1-2 months, NUC will give us approval for that. And this will also go to complement that aspect of it, open and distant learning education, where we will have students of UNICAL across the world. We will not just have them here on campus. You can be in any part of the world and you will register as a student of University of Calabar. And I bet you will start in that very soon. So this is all that we'll be doing using that, using the radio. And it wasn't just easy for us to come up with this. It has taken a lot of effort, a lot of thinking, and I think I need to commend our Dr. Osim, who has worked very tirelessly to see that we actualize this big vision of ours. And we are actually very happy that it has started. And to us, thinking outside of the box and coming with this is one good thing that I encourage every other university to do. Because I said we are in a competitive world. We must group globally known competitive graduates today.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Vice Chancellor. I also want to ask, do you foresee any challenges while running this radio program?
Of course there will. Our vision and mission is to have 7 of such radio stations. Now we are just having one. And we are having this one because someone somewhere picked up the bills for us. And let me use this opportunity to also commend Asuquo Ekpenyong Foundation, who single-handedly had to fund this first studio for us. And we know that funds is a big challenge generally to every university in the country. If we had enough funds, we would want to have the 7 commissioned the first just today like we're doing it. But because we lack resources, we can't commission the 7 today. We started with 1, and we know that Crossivarians, Nigerians, alumni members of UNICAL will come to our aid and pick up the bills for the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 7th studio. So we know that funding is a big challenge, and we want to call on Nigerians, well-meaning persons, philanthropists to come to the aid of the university and support us. Outside funds, there's nothing we cannot do. Once we have the fund, we can do so much. And recall too that this will also help us, especially in a very young program which we just started, the mass communication. I'm sure that even the mass communication students will find this radio for now very, very useful for them. And I think we call on everybody to come to our aid to support us.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Another question I would like to ask. Now we have asked people to support the radio in establishing the whole entire 7 studios we plan to have on campus. What will you say to the targeted audience, which are majorly in Nigeria students, UNICAL students in precise? What is your words to every UNICAL student and intending UNICAL student outside them?
Well, see UNICAL as your own. If you are a UNICAL student there, take ownership. I like telling my students, take ownership of the university. Be proud of the university, especially the University of Calabar of today, where the principal officers, the management, senior staff, council members are working very hard to reposition it and to give it a global face. I want to tell my students to work very hard. I want to tell them that for all the information they had to pass out, they should remember that we have a radio, and with this radio, they can easily communicate to the rest of the world. Not just that, I want the students to be focused in their academics. They need to know the first thing that brought them here. They need to be very passionate about the University of Calabar. Just 2 days ago, we had to address a press conference, and sadly enough, one student who is supposed to be an alumnus of the University of Calabar went out maligning the name of his institution. I think that is not good enough. So I think my students and those who want to come to the University of Calabar must know that the University of Calabar is run by rules and regulations, and they must learn to abide by the rules and regulations, and they also need to toe the line and to key into the vision and the mission of this current administration in their efforts to reposition the University of Calabar to become a global university, and so that the product as students can compete globally with students across the world. That is exactly what we are doing. We are just moving into the era of e-teaching, and we are now using this hybrid method. Even in our e-teaching, what we're trying to do here is to make sure that 60% of our teaching is one-on-one with the students, 40% is virtual learning. So that if lecturers, academics, they could travel anywhere, and when they travel, they will have opportunity to still reach their students. Remember that during the COVID-19, students who were schooling abroad, were in Nigeria, who came on holiday, missed out nothing because they keep in using the virtual teaching, and that is exactly where we are going to. This is the era of digital education, and University of Calabar cannot be left out. We are keen into digital education, we are going global, and we are now getting into being a totally smart university and smart campus. So my students and those who want to look for a university to go to should see University of Calabar as a university of first choice.
Wow, at this point, I'm so proud to be a UNICAL student. Ma, what is your last word for either the workers here, the entire student, the listeners, everywhere? What is your last word to everyone?
The workers, please remain committed. We just started. This is just the beginning. We have told the world that we are ready. We have introduced this today. Let's go out, want to listen to UNICAL Radio. Always wanting to tune into UNICAL Radio International. Let us be very creative to make sure that we are bringing out new programs, and we bring programs that will actually educate not just our students but even the international community, especially about UNICAL and all that we are doing. So I want to again once more thank Dr. Osim for this wonderful idea, because one thing to conceive an idea is the net, another thing to make sure that the idea becomes fruitful. And now he has been able to put in place the idea he dreamt of, and I thank him again. I thank Asuquo Ekpenyong Foundation, and once more I call on listeners out there, especially those of them who have passed through the 4 walls of our university, friends of University of Calabar. There are so many who are awardees, honorable awardees of University of Calabar, who are holding the honorary custard of the university. They should all come to our aid and join hands with the present administration in developing the University of Calabar to international standards.
Thank you very much, ma'am. To our listeners out there, the voice you just listened to is the voice of Professor Florence Bankobi, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar, and here is Vice Chancellor, the Director of Information Student Union of the University of Calabar. Today we are rounding up the official commissioning of our UNICAL Radio International. Keep listening to UNICAL Radio 103.5 and remain blessed.
Entertainment extravaganza only on UNICAL Radio International, Edutainment 360.